For the rugby fans out there, Ireland versus the All Blacks tonight, which is a game I am not going to miss. Let's go Ireland. It's 12:30 in the afternoon and I'm Liz Jones, Managing Director at People to People UK and your host of P2P UK Live. On today's show, we're going to cover, are you guilty of napping at work? So to this week's stat takes a look at how common it is in the UK for people to take a nap on the job. We'll take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, New Zealand and Australia. We're joined this week by consultant Aalia Sipos, who's going to give us some top tips for in-person interviews. Now they are back in full swing. And then we'll take a look at the social media poll results. But first, let's take a look at the stat of the week. A recent Daily Mail article reveals that 1 in 10 UK workers admit to napping while working remotely. The early afternoon around 2 p.m. seems to be the most common time to take a nap. This trend underscores the flexibility that remote work provides, allowing employees to manage their time and occasionally fit in short naps during the workday. If this behaviour is widespread, as the article suggests, it could mean that up to 4.3 million people in the UK are sleeping on the job, leading to an estimated £500 million in weekly wage losses for companies, which is huge. The issue emerges amidst a push from some businesses to bring employees back into the office. For example, civil servants in the UK are now required to be physically present at work for at least 3 days a week. At the same time, some firms that permit remote work are taking steps to ensure employees remain productive, even going so far as to monitor their locations to confirm that they aren't working from abroad. The article also highlights a recent survey of 2,000 UK adults, revealing that tiredness has had significant consequences on the workforce. More than 3 million Brits report having left their jobs due to fatigue-related dissatisfaction. Additionally, younger employees seem to be more effective, with 1 in 5 admitting that they've called in sick due to tiredness. So this survey, commissioned by the sugar-free energy drink brand Reign Storm, emphasises the potential cost of this productivity slump, with the average Brit earning $17.40 per hour. Even 1 hour of napping per admitted worker could translate to $24 billion a year in lost wages for employers. Huge. That is it for the stat of the week. It's time to take a look at some jobs in the UK. We are looking for a customer service manager. This job's based in South East London, paying £35,000 to £40,000. Responsibilities include managing and leading the customer service team to top standards, handling escalations, providing product advice and monitoring satisfaction rates, and organising strong leadership, problem solving, prior customer service experience is required. This job's being looked after by Hannah Scanlon, and you can contact Hannah on the contact details that appear on screen now. Don't forget to register with us for temporary work. We're looking for various temporary positions across the UK, various industries. Opportunities range from the short-term cover of just a few days to long-term temp cover positions lasting up to 12 months. We're always on the lookout for job seekers, so if you want to discuss any temporary positions with us, please reach out to us on the contact details that appear on screen now. Interested in taking a trip abroad? Let's take a look at some of the vacancies we've got in Australia and New Zealand. Victoria, Australia, we're looking for a personal assistant paying $38 to $45 per hour. That looks like a temporary position. A legal assistant in Victoria, Australia, paying $80,000 to $95,000 per year, and an operations assistant in Auckland, New Zealand, paying $60,000 to $62,000 per year. If you want to know anything about these positions, there's a barcode on the screen now. Please scan it and you'll be able to contact the team. Hello, Aalia. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
Nice to have you always. So you're going to talk to us today about a really relevant topic. So obviously everyone's back at interviewing. There's lots of face-to-face interviews happening, which I love because I think it's much better than virtual to just go and have a coffee with somebody. So you're going to give us some top tips for handling those interviews and what can you do during the interview to make sure you've got a better chance of getting the job?
Yes, definitely. I think given the choice, and you brought up a good fact there about in-person or virtual, and I think given the choice, if there is an opportunity to be in front of the interviewer in person, you should definitely jump at that opportunity. It gives you a chance to get a real feel of the office space or even that person that you're connecting with, like you said, for coffee or in a little bit more of a formal kind of setting. But it definitely gives you that ability to stand out more so.
Yeah. Okay, great point. And let's talk about timing. So how early should you arrive for an interview?
Yes, there's always a couple of questions in and around timing. And essentially being too punctual is pretty much the same as kind of arriving late. So we always say give about a 5-minute buffer time before your interview connects. And this just allows you to be prompt and be ready for when they kind of call you into that meeting room.
Excellent, great advice. And let's move on to after the interview. So you've been to meet the person, you want to follow up the interview. What's your top tips for doing that?
Yeah, I think once you're in the interview with the interviewer, the first thing to ask is what happens next, essentially. Give or ask for a timeline, see when you should be expecting a response. As soon as you leave the interview, jump into your notes on your phone, take down a few of those key points of the conversation, keep their details fresh as well. And about a day or so later, pending if it's a permanent interview or a temporary role, reach back out to them if you haven't heard anything from the company.
Yeah, so important. What about a thank you note? Would you suggest sending a thank you note to them?
Yes, definitely. And I would say within the first 24 hours, it lets you know that you've appreciated their time, and you might be able to re-highlight a couple of the key points that you were presenting within the interview, what you found interesting, what you liked about the business itself. And it also helps reinforce your interest in the role and the company.
Excellent. And let's say if you've been for the interview and you haven't heard back within a specific time frame, what do you suggest we do there?
Yes, so it depends if it's a permanent or a temporary role. So if it is a permanent role, I would say within the first 2 weeks, if you haven't heard back, then start to reach out. And you can do this via contacting them directly if you have their contact details, reaching out on LinkedIn as well. It's another professional network that you can do so. If it is a temporary role and they're looking for an immediate start, I would say within 1 to 2 days.
Yeah. Excellent. So thank you so much. That's such helpful feedback, and hopefully people will feel just a little bit more confident going into their interviews.
Yes.
Definitely, if you have the opportunity, meet with people in person. You can definitely build a lot more rapport that way. So if somebody wanted to contact you, Aalia, to discuss, maybe they're going for an interview, they want some advice, how can they do that?
Yes, look, connect with me on my mobile, definitely. 07340 854 906 is my contact number.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Liz.
It is time to take a look at the social media poll results. So last week we had, are you more burnt out or stressed at work than you were at the beginning of the year? So 67.5% of you said, yes, you are. 32.5% said no. If you'd like to get involved in this week's poll, when working from home, is it acceptable to nap during work hours? I'm really interested to see what people say to this one. So yes, no, or only if you can make up the hours. Thanks for joining this week. Good luck in the game tonight to Ireland and the All Blacks, and we'll see you 12:30 next Friday.